Visible?
Yeah, you're visible.
Okay. So, hi Chinmay, what's going on?
Hi, I'm good. What about you?
Yeah, it's going good. So, what all things are going on professionally actually? So, which and all companies you work, what and all?
Actually, I passed out in 2022 from college from Pune,
Okay.
and
Which college?
after that, Vishwakarma Institute of Technology (VIT) Pune.
Okay, okay, great. Then what
And
happened?
after that, I have been placed in Cognizant. So
Mm-hmm.
from 1.5 years, I am in Cognizant only.
1.5 years. Okay.
Yeah, so right now I want to switch from Cognizant, but the issue with me is like my domain is Java backend, like Spring Boot and all.
Mm-hmm.
My domain and all is good, but the issue is I'm not in project right now. I mean,
Okay.
I'm tagged to the project, but they haven't onboarded me due to recession. Like client is like they want only 4+ years of experience, guys.
Okay. So,
So
currently
my
you are
client is
having around 2 years experience, right?
yeah one. I was full time employee from November 2022. Before
Mm-hmm.
that internship and business training everything.
Okay, okay.
So the issue is, even if I study everything right now, I know like Spring Boot, microservices, and Java and all. But
Mm-hmm.
uh, during the time of interview, like they're definitely going to ask me what about the project you have worked on and
Yeah, definitely,
like,
definitely.
question related to that. So
Mm-hmm.
even if I try like faking it, like I don't know what extent will I be able to do it.
No,
So
don't
that's the
fake
issue
it.
what I'm
Why will you
facing.
fake it? If you don't know the concepts, then you can't fake it. If you know the concept and you have to think creatively about what all projects you can make, then that thing you can tell by linking with the concepts that you have already learned. But you don't know the concepts, then how can you fake it? It's not possible, right? So you have to
Hmm.
first learn the concepts. What all things is in increasing demand as of now. So basically, you are in backend Java, right? So Spring
Yeah.
Boot, microservices, Kafka, this multi-threading collection streams. These are very commonly asked questions. Solid design
Yeah.
principles. Okay, so these things they will ask you. Design patterns and all.
Hmm.
Singleton factory, there is structural design pattern, behavioral design pattern. You should know all those things. They are covering
Hmm.
each and everything basically. For 6 to 7 years, also for 2 to 3 years, also they are asking a lot of things. So you should be knowing the things at least for initial
Hmm.
level of experience. If you don't know the in depth, it's fine, but you should know the basic overview, like what all things are present. You should know the
Hmm.
basics because they will ask you like, have you worked upon this or not? If you tell like no, I haven't worked, then they can ask you like, have you learned about this? Do you know anything about this or not? So that
Hmm.
time you should not tell like you haven't heard or you don't know anything about that. That creates a bad impression. Means you haven't worked maybe because the project was not of making much use of Kafka and all, but you should know the things like when to use Kafka, why to use Kafka, what is Kafka, these things. So basic stuff should be known. Okay.
Yeah, I'm aware of the concept, but the thing is like most of the companies they want like project experience, so that is my
So
issue
from
right now.
past 2 years, you haven't worked upon single project.
I mean, like personal projects that are different, like but the client side like production level projects.
So what is
I haven't.
personal project? I didn't get you. Means what you have created.
Yeah,
Uh,
what I have created like on my personal laptop and everything.
okay, okay. So in 2 years, what you did in Cognizant basically?
Yeah, before that, like, can you allow the bot of TopMate so that it can record the session? Are you getting any notification related to it?
Let me check. I think it will automatically do. I am
Okay, it
not
will
having
automatically
option from
do.
my side. Yeah.
Okay, no issues. So
Anyways,
yeah,
I am
so
recording. So if it is not there, I will share with you. I am recording on my system. Okay.
okay, no issues. So startingly, so they started the training with JDBC, like JSP servlets,
Mm-hmm.
everything. But like properly, if you were to ask me like what I know, like on a serious note is Java. Java, it's like Spring Basics and Spring Boot. Microservices like Discovery Service, like Pain
Mm-hmm.
Client and circuit breakers and API gateways. And I'm learning Spring Security as well now,
Okay.
and I have even done one GCP like Google Cloud Platform basic certification.
Okay.
Uh, and Docker, I have basic idea. Kubernetes, I have basic ideas.
No, I am
So
asking like in Cognizant, what things you did in 2 years? What all things you did? Something you
no,
might.
yeah, I was basically assigned a mentor, and we were
Mm-hmm.
just part of the upskilling program.
Only
That's all.
upskilling from two
Yeah,
years.
that's the issue. So
Okay.
I want to switch.
Mm-hmm.
There is neither money nor
Okay. Okay.
neither I'm getting the project experience.
Okay, yeah, I got it. Because initial level, you will think like I'm getting the money, but after some time, you
Yeah.
will get to know that only money is not enough. You should upgrade your skills because initial level is very important. First four
Hmm.
5 years, what you will do, it will determine your rest 20 years. So first
Barabar.
4 to
Right.
5 years is
Correct.
very important. So have you done anything by your own? What type of projects have you created by your own?
Yeah, so basically I was given one assignment. It was like e-commerce type. So there was like three, four microservices. One was like inventory, another
This
was
was given by
order.
Cognizant or this was you only
Yeah,
done?
this was given by Cognizant
Okay,
only
okay,
as a part of training,
okay,
sales and order, and they were communicating with each other. I uh, Basic Kafka was used like for consumer and producer.
okay.
So I took help of my friend to do it,
Mm-hmm.
and that API gateway and everything was there. And other than that, I created like one contact management system kind of with the help of Timeleaf, which I saw from YouTube and everything. And
Okay.
rest I know what like controller or service layer repository I can code that.
Okay, was
So
it
I'm
completed the Kafka communication, or have you implemented any design pattern in microservices? Anything you did?
design no design patterns no.
So because they are asking in microservice, what all design patterns have you worked upon? There are Saga design pattern there, no choreography and
Hmm.
orchestration.
Hmm.
So try to create small projects implementing those Saga design patterns, and why
Hmm.
that came into picture. So there
Hmm.
was already distributed transaction happening. Then why the Saga design pattern came? So it
Hmm.
was like rollback issues where they distributed transaction. Okay, so whenever there is some payment happening or at any particular event, some failure happened, then there is like entire set of events which already happened before that should get rolled back. So to resolve that issue, the Saga design pattern came. It's having like choreography, orchestration, when to use what. So those things should be clear. They can ask questions on that. In what scenarios you will be going to use this design patterns, and what all. There are circuit breaker design patterns also. They are asking a lot. Like for fault tolerance, which design pattern are you using? Like microservice A calling B, B is calling C. If C is
Hmm.
not working, then what design pattern will you use in microservice to handle that scenarios? So those type of questions will be asked, and not only that, they will ask you like how will you implement circuit breaker design pattern. Then
Hmm.
if you have not implemented by your own, you will not be able to answer that. They will ask you like which report, which jar file will you import to implement that circuit breaker design pattern. You will
Hmm.
add the dependency in pom.xml, that's fine, but to use that circuit breaker in internal implementation logic, you need to import some jar file, right? Import
Like
some
packages.
packages, yeah. So what all packages you need to import? Circuit breaker is present in which package? It's in Spring Cloud package. So if you don't know that thing, if you haven't implemented, you will not be able to answer those. So start creating projects on design patterns. They are focusing mostly on that. Normal
Uh,
design patterns and
okay.
microservice design patterns.
Like
This
singleton and these are normal design pattern,
as
prototype singleton.
creational design
And
pattern is very important in that singleton factory, abstract factory builder. These four are very important. Then
hmm.
then there is in structural, there is and behavioral, there is a template design pattern, there is strategy design patterns. These are very important. And there is a gang of four design patterns. Okay, so you should go through that, and facade design pattern. Okay, so these design patterns they are asking, you should know at least two design patterns for structural and behavior. So if they ask you like, do you know only creational design pattern, or do you know other design patterns as well? So you should be
Hmm.
able to tell like, yes, I know two three design patterns on structural as well as behavior. Maybe you don't know the in-depth implementation, but you should know like what those design patterns do. Okay,
Hmm.
so that is important. The initial level you should know a basic overview of that.
And for microservices, is it expected from 1.5 to 2 years of experience candidate also? Like I should know the Saga patterns and everything, design
Yeah, you
patterns.
should know it. It will give you added advantage. Okay, if everybody doesn't know, but if you know, what's the harm in learning? It's like
No.
a design pattern only, right? Just you are
Hmm.
learning singleton and factory. Similar way, only two design pattern important is there. The Saga design pattern contains choreography and orchestration. Just learn and go through it now. It's helpful for you
Yeah.
only. And circuit breaker is asking in almost all interviews. So you
Hmm.
also might be facing this kind of interviews, like how to make your microservice fault tolerant.
Hmm.
Okay, so in multi-threading also questions can be asked, like how what new features came in Java 8, why completable feature came into picture when already features was available, what's the
Hmm.
difference between a callable method and runnable methods.
Hmm.
So those things they will ask you. So
Mm-hmm.
there should be, it should be clear basic things like executor framework is there. What is and what actual implementation is being used in executor framework. Like blocking queue is used, right? You might be knowing. So you should know all those executor service frameworks like fixed thread pool, cache thread pool, single thread pool, those things. Okay. So these things it's mostly asked multi-threaded. Multi-threading collection streams, and if you know Java 17, it's fine because if you are using Spring Boot 3.0.x, then you might be knowing that it uses Java 17.
Java 17, yeah.
So if you tell like I have worked upon Spring Boot 3, but you don't know about Java 17, it creates again a bad impression.
Mm,
So
yeah.
you should know the mapping. Okay.
But my issue is that only, like what will I tell in project experience? I mean,
Project
right now,
experience, yeah. So first of all, you need to see like in existing projects, some people might be working in another project, right? You might be
hmm,
knowing someone who is already working in a current project.
hmm.
So
A few
talk
of
to
my friends are there, yeah.
just talk to them in cognizant who is working in any project. Try to
Hmm,
learn the architecture. Try to learn their design, what all things they are doing. Okay, and then
hmm,
try to write it on a paper. Like what's the flow in their code? What all things they are doing.
hmm,
Whenever you get free time in lunchtime or in evening time, go with them, sit with them, try to understand their architecture, what type of architecture they are following, what type of business logic they are writing, what is the
hmm.
flow. So if you know their architecture, you can interview in the interview, you can tell that I have worked upon this.
That's what I'm planning because one of my close friend he got
Hmm.
project like 2 3 weeks back only.
Yeah,
Uh, but the issue here in Cognizant is like there are ODCs and everything is there, so we can't access where they are sitting and everything.
you have to
So
find out the way. There is nothing
uh,
like that. You might be knowing that friend, right? You can directly talk with him.
yeah, I mean I will
That way
have
also.
to on
Take their
weekends and
number,
everything.
okay, take their number or try to meet on weekends with them at their home or at some other place. Try to understand the
Hmm.
architecture from them, not in depth level, because if it is not permitted, then you should not ask those things. But at the overview level, you can ask, right? What all the architectural flow? Because in interview, these things only will be asked. What was your project? What was the flow? The business flow, the technical flow. These things only they
The
will ask.
database related
What
things
all
and
database
everything.
have you used? So have you used NoSQL or not? Have you used MySQL or not? What's the
Hmm.
advantage of using NoSQL over MySQL?
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So question starts from there only. If you tell like I have worked upon MongoDB, so question starts from there. Then there is no issue. Once question starts, no, then there is no issue. The initial question is very difficult to answer that. What all projects have you worked upon? Then what will you
Yeah,
answer?
correct.
Then you should know that. At least you can initiate the conversation. For that, you should know the architectural flow, architectural diagram. That high level design should be there in the mind.
Yeah, correct. Right now, I'm planning to do that only to sit
Hmm.
with my friends for 15 20 days
Yeah.
whenever it is possible and see exactly how they get the tickets and how they approach the problem statement and everything.
Approaching and all that is fine. First, try to understand what is the project they are working upon, what
Hmm.
kind of project they are working, in what domain that
Exactly.
project is. First of all, you have to see that healthcare
Domain
domain or
like
banking domain.
banking or
Yeah,
something like that,
yeah.
right?
First, tell that because the interview will ask you what domain have you worked upon. Then it comes like what is the architectural flow,
But
like
how
over.
does the domain matter? I mean, I have seen your interviews as well and lot of mock interviews on YouTube as well. But how does the domain matter? Right now, I'm
Because
tagged to
most of the companies know they are working upon banking and financial domain projects. So
in
if you,
Java, right?
yeah, if you clearly say that I have worked upon banking and financial domain project for 4 years, 5 years, then it
Hmm.
creates a good impression in them, like yes, he is having experience in Java and Spring Boot on in specific to banking domain. So if that is if their client, if you see most of the service based company has the clients like banks, like JP
Right.
Morgan, Morgan Stanley,
Hmm.
Wells Fargo, these are all what, these are banking domains, right?
Yep.
So if you
Investment
can tell
banking.
them like yes, I have experience in banking domain projects, then you can very easily convince them. And if any of your answer is not matching their expectations, still they will think like yes, you have for 2 years 3 years experience in banking domain, I can consider you. You're getting right.
Right, yet I'm getting it. Right now I'm tagged to like Ford Motors, like the automobile company. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, the whole team got fired. I mean, the development team and the project went to Deloitte or something. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
So I won't be onboarded into that project only, and they won't release me onto the bench also because until I don't get released to the bench, I don't have access to talent marketplace. That is the portal in Cognizant where I can apply to the projects and everything.
Okay,
So
okay.
I'm trapped. I can't apply to other projects also,
Take it
and
in a
neither
good way,
do.
basically. Take it in a good way. If they are not releasing you, it's fine. Be in that project. Try to learn from others, those who are already working in the project. Okay, there might be
Hmm.
few people who are actually doing the development task, or those who are solving issues. Just ask them what all issues you are solving, how you are approaching that issue to resolve that.
Only two, three people from Spring Boot domain in Pune. I mean, like my friends are working in projects. Rest all are like just tagged to the projects. Client are not onboarding only them. And two of my friends they just write the unit test cases and everything. I will see
Just
like one of.
just ask particular to the domain. Like if someone is working in unit testing, ask them like how are you writing unit test. If someone is working on development, ask them how are you doing the development, how are you approaching the problem, how are you approaching the client's requirement, because these questions are also asked in the interview. Like what are your
Hmm.
roles and responsibilities, like how
Correct.
are you approaching the requirement whatever client is giving you. Have you worked as a lead or not? So this thing will not be asked to you, have you worked on lead or not. It is for a senior basically. But they can ask you like if client gives you certain set of requirements to implement, then how are you approaching that problem.
Correct.
So you should be knowing that. Then those things you can ask to your friends or colleagues, so they can explain you. Like this is the requirement given by my client, and then I am thinking of approaching this way. I am facing these all problems, and then I have asked to this, or I have googled it, or gone to Stack Overflow anywhere, and I found a solution like this. Those things you can note it down. What all problems has he faced? How he has he resolved a solution? And if he has completed a development, then what all these data structures they have used, and in what scenarios they have used those data structures, and understand the business worked. That's it.
Hmm. Hmm.
These 4 points are important.
Yeah, and I have seen even like mock interviews or interviews where like they ask like anything like what was the database table, like how many database table were there and how they were connected, like joins and everything, what were the field names and everything. So I will need to know their project like end to end, like thoroughly, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
That again depends, like only one or two people might be there who will be willing to tell me that much, like
You
most of
have
the
to
people.
stick with that. So if once they are not telling, after 2 or 3 days try asking them again, like what all tables are you using, how those tables are interconnected. So are they using MongoDB or not, NoSQL or not, or entire project based upon relational database. So those things you have to ask, you have to know the things. Okay, write it down, then only you can able to answer in the interview. Don't think about they are answering or not answering. If they are not answering now, maybe 2 or 3 days later they can answer, or their friends can answer. Your main purpose is to get the knowledge. How are you getting? That's the thing. So you have to find it out the way. But once you get the thing, you can able to answer that in it. Because in the interviewer, they will not listen. Like you haven't worked. That is the bad thing. They
Yeah,
will get
because
to know.
they won't hire me like straight away, it
Yes,
will.
yes, yes. But the other companies where you are going for interview, they will not listen to these things, right? They will be looking for person who is having skill set for whatever they are hiring. If that skill set is not there, you will be rejected. So you have to find out the midway. Like you have to gain the knowledge from them who are working in the project, and then you can deliver it to the interviewer. That the person who need to know those things that you are asking. Okay, so you should take the knowledge from there and then implement it there. That's it. You should work as a medium,
Yeah.
or if you are doing project internal project, that is also fine. You can
Internal,
implement.
like for the Cognizant portals and everything like that.
Yeah, yeah. Internal project to Cognizant
No.
something will be there, right?
That also like uh, that they are not available right now. I don't know.
Try to
Since I
create
don't have.
your own project in your personal laptop, whatever you are doing, that you keep on doing. Okay, you can mix them both. So you can take the
Yeah.
knowledge from there. You can take the knowledge from your personal projects, whatever you are doing. Try to merge them and create a project. Okay, create an imaginary project. Like that, also you can tell them. So they will not do
Hmm.
cross questioning much. Okay, in the project they
Hmm.
will not do cross questioning. They will just ask, have you worked upon Docker? Have you worked upon Kubernetes? Have you worked upon this cloud GCPs? Have you worked
Hmm.
upon design patterns?
Hmm.
They will
Hmm.
ask you
Hmm.
direct questions from project. They will not go in depth. So the
Yeah, they
exceptions are
won't
always
be
there,
very
but yeah,
specific.
yeah. So if you can answer those, then it's fine. Then they will start asking from how much will you rate in Java, how much will you rate in Spring Boot. They will start from there. But something should be there to tell that because that will be the first question. What
Correct.
project have you
Correct.
worked on?
Correct. That will decide the rest of the interview.
Yes. If you don't show confidence there, then they will understand because they are very smart. They are interviewing for a lot of candidates.
Correct.
So these are the
Mm,
just starting point. After that, you have to keep on upgrading your skills. So every time you give the interview, first 4 or 5 interviews, don't think about getting selected. You might get rejected 100% of the time. So just keep in mind that first 4 or 5 interviews is just for warm up, just for learning purpose. And if possible,
mm.
try to record as well those interviews so that you will get to know like where I am lacking, where I am showing nervousness, how will I improve that. So that will be helpful.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like whenever I'm filling that part, project part in my resume, so I will have to write their project description only in like 3 4 points, right?
Yeah,
At
there
max,
should be
like
proper bullet point. 6 to 8 bullet points should be there in one particular project. Okay, and if you can merge 2 bullet points, that also is fine. Don't keep it too
oh,
short.
uh-huh.
Don't keep it too long in a form of paragraph. Try to keep
Hmm.
it in 2 to 3 lines max. If it goes beyond
Hmm.
that, it will work as a paragraph, and recruiters don't like to read paragraphs. They like to read bullet points. That should be clear bullet points. The font also should be like Times New Roman or Arial. One font should be maintained across all your resume. It should be one column resume. Okay. So, do you know what's the resume score for you?
No, I
Is it
haven't
is it
done the
ATS?
ATS and testing.
Yeah, you
No,
can send me the resume so that I will see like what's the score of your resume.
because right now I haven't created the resume in that like single page format. I have created in the like a free template from the Novo resume, like
So,
using
have
that
you
tool.
put the details of your projects there in the Nova resume from wherever you have created?
Yeah, I will show you
Yeah,
my
you say
resume
that
from it.
I will give you the score, like where and all can be improved,
Uh,
what all things can be added more, those
I
things.
have skipped the project section as of now.
Okay.
Is my resume visible?
No, it's join call is showing document join call.
Oh, uh, okay. Acha, okay.
I think you have
It,
shared only this screen.
I don't know, like how. I guess it is not sharing the whole window. It is just sharing the tab
Try to stop
option.
share and again share the entire screen.
Activate. Okay. Entire screen. Okay, got it. Yeah. So this is just a rough resume which I did, like not now. Is it visible?
Yes, it's visible. So
I
again, you
just.
have created two column format because
Yep, exactly.
ATS scanner put it in just they scan the best way when it is like in one column format.
Yeah, exactly. Like below, right?
Yes.
Like horizontally.
Yes.
So I just
So
added this only. The
yeah,
project
it's very
section is empty right
short
now.
points that you have written. So it will clearly indicate like you haven't worked much. So that's why I'm telling
Hmm.
you put it in vertical format. Okay, so it will look like you have done something. Okay, some
Hmm.
description
Hmm.
should be there with respect to your project. So
Hmm.
that only
Hmm.
I'm telling. Ask your colleagues what all things they are doing. Try to add those points here.
Yeah, sure. I will add one like section only, like project experience in
Yes.
Cognizant, something like that, right?
Yeah,
So that is missing.
I will share you my resume. Okay, so you can go
Hmm.
through it and you can edit that as well because it should be followed a proper format because skills should be there. If you gain some experience to 2 3 years, then after
Hmm.
that the skill set is there that will come at last. First they will see like what all tech stacks have you worked upon, what all projects have you worked upon. Okay,
Hmm.
so those skill set which they are looking for are there in your first page or not. First of all they will look at. Okay,
Okay, got
so
it.
let me share my screen once.
I mean, right till now I waited in the hope that they will onboard me on the project, but it doesn't seem the case right
Yeah,
now
it's
because
okay, don't
client
depend
doesn't
upon
really
them.
want.
Don't depend upon them.
So I just like wasted a lot of time.
Yeah, don't depend upon them that they will put you. Okay, in that meantime you just utilize that time. Okay, create your proper resume, upgrade your skills properly, and then
Hmm.
try giving because it should be prepared before giving interviews, right? So like that it will start like first professional experience, then the company name, the project, what all things you have done, the date,
Hmm.
like till when to when you have worked, then your roles and responsibility. If you see, most of the interviewers will ask you what are the roles and responsibilities that you had in your project. So that should be there first. So what all things have you worked? Okay, only two
Hmm.
to three lines at max, and there should be quantified numbers. Okay, like with
Hmm.
how
Hmm.
many teams have you worked, what was the success rate, okay, what was the response time after your changes in the project.
Hmm.
So
But how do I like get these numbers and everything since I haven't worked on a project like
you can ask them
even
only,
from
no?
friends?
So they might have done at least one API, they have at least written one API, right?
Hmm.
So you can tell them like before writing the API and after writing how much change you are getting. Okay, so is it
Hmm.
like response is faster or it is slower? Just in a fun way you can ask. Then they will tell like yes, it's faster. Then you can ask the percentage. Like can you tell me how much percent it is there? Like around 5% or 10%. Then they
Oh
can
no.
tell
Hmm.
approximately that you can put it there. But they will ask question on this also. Ki, how you came to this number like 10% or 15%. Okay,
Yeah. Okay.
then you have to tell like you have to ask them first like have you implemented any specific data structure, have you implemented any specific design pattern, like how have you improved this response timing. Then they can tell you like they might have using multi-threading, okay, they might be using futures, executor framework or data structure proper to increase the response time.
Hmm.
Okay, so those things you have to ask, there should be proper discussion. Okay, so because these
Hmm.
numbers will quantify it, it creates a trust
Correct.
basically, otherwise it will be like a vague word that anybody
It
can
will be
tell.
like overview
Yes,
kind of
yes,
thing.
yes, yeah. Because if you write only this, no, then everybody is doing this, then what's so
Hmm.
different in your resume?
Correct. Correct.
So it will create a differentiating factor basically. So after doing this, this is the result you are getting, because most of the candidates resume I've seen, they are not writing the end result, they are just writing I have done this, I have done that, but what was the result of doing that, that nobody writes, very few people write that, and that creates a differentiation basically. So everywhere you are writing, just tell like what was the impact of your project after you have implemented something, maybe you have solved any issue, maybe you have written one small enhancement code, so what was the change happened. Maybe you can write that there was one issue coming with respect to calling another service, so that was very critical issue, but after writing my code, some enhancement I did, after that this problem got resolved, and now the system speed the system, project speed got increased, response time got reduced, like that you can tell. Okay.
Can the interviewer go into very specific like how did you like what exactly did you use to increase that time to decrease that time and everything?
Yeah, they can ask you, so you can answer like I have followed proper design principles, I have followed design patterns, so you should be knowing like how have you used the design patterns. So I do at least one or two projects on factory design pattern, builder design pattern, singleton design patterns, like use cases
Hmm.
of those in the project. Then you can tell them "Ki, yes, for this reason I have made use of this factory design pattern, and this increased the performance basically. And
Hmm.
then to check the speed, you can check in postman, you can tell that I am directly hitting the url in that particular server, like there is a proper reasons like non-prod reasons, dev, sit, uat, so I am hitting that particular url in dev region, and before my implementation it was like 4.5 millisecond, and now after my implementation is 3.2 millisecond or something like that, so that way you can
Okay.
tell.
And like, how do I learn about the whole pipeline, like from developing the code to deploying it? In mostly MNCs, there are other people who will deploy it, but like how my friends do it, like where they push the code, like then the Jenkins part and everything. So how about the detailing? Because I have seen like people do ask about like what was the next process after solving the issues, and how
Yeah,
do I figure it out?
yeah, no, first of all, if it is a development or if it is a issue solving, so those things you have to see. Like if it is a development, then you have to talk with technical architect team, like how will you proceed further. They will give you a brief implementation in the form of ppt, okay, or in the form of document. Then you can go through that document, try to come up with a solution, and then you start implementing it, and then you will see like what all things have you done. It will get PR reviewed, so PR will
Hmm.
be raised to your team lead. So if they approve your code changes, then it will be like merged to a develop branch. Okay,
Hmm.
your branch will be a feature branch, it will be developed branch will be there, or main branch will be there, it will be merged there. And as soon as those merge happens, then CI/CD pipeline starts. You know the CI/CD pipeline process is
Yeah, I
continue.
know the overview kind of thing.
Yeah, it's continuous integration, continuous deployment.
Continuous
Okay, so
deployment.
whatever you are pushing the changes, code changes, it will be continuously integrated. So there is a
Yeah.
already certain set of code written in your main branch. Okay, now you have pushed a new set of code changes in that main branch. So there will be integration of the new code changes to the existing code changes, and then the build and deployment process gets started.
Hmm.
And
So
after, yeah, tell.
so from a like junior developer of my experience, till what part of the process am I expected to do things like after like let's say pushing it to GitHub,
Hmm.
then it will go to Jenkins or something like that.
Hmm.
So till what part of that chain am I expected to know the things? Since I haven't worked on a project, so I should know exactly what people do, like till what uh, part they do it.
Okay. So first of all, like the changes you are doing, you are committing those changes. Okay. After doing the
Hmm.
committing, and then you have to see like, are you manually trying to do the build process, or it's like continuous integration happening, like
Hmm.
automation is there. That you have to
Okay.
ask to your employee first, to your colleague.
Yes.
So if it is like as soon as you commit your change and push your changes, then there are companies where there is automatically integration starts. Jenkins build starts as soon as you push your code changes. Okay, then
Hmm.
after doing the commit and push, there will be like there is separate Jenkins. If you have made use of Jenkins, you will be knowing the build process starts in the initial stage. So first, there will be like it will check for all your sonar check marks
Sonar
scans.
cube.
Yeah, after doing the scan, it will check for Marvin, like your build is happening or not. But whatever you doing, MVN clean install you are doing. No, same thing
Hmm.
happens there. The build process that happens in Jenkins. So after completing those process, then actually the deployment process starts. Like in which environment that particular code is getting deployed. It's like dev, reason, SIT, UAT, non-prod, or other SIT1, SIT2, SIT3. There are different kind of environments are there. So which all environment is getting deployed. You should know those steps basically. So script and all is can be managed with DevOps team basically. So if you know about the scripting part, it's fine. They can ask you like, do you know about the scripting? Have you written any script in Jenkins? So you can tell like, no, there is a DevOps team available for us. So I am knowing from the UI side how to start the build and deployment process. You know the build and deployment process, how it starts.
I have seen the tutorial of Jenkins, like and how it works, like
So
and I
yeah,
have even
you
seen the
choose,
unit test
yeah, you choose the
coverage.
branch name. Okay, you
Hmm.
choose the
Hmm.
environment name.
Hmm.
Then
Hmm. Hmm.
then you start doing the build process. There will be a
Yeah,
build
yeah.
button. Build button will be there. If you click on
Hmm.
build,
Hmm. Hmm.
then
Hmm.
the build process will be started. Okay, there will be
Hmm.
certain parameters. Those things will be asked in the first page. After clicking on build, the build process gets started. So if there is a chance that at some point it gets failed, like Sonar gets failed or Maven gets failed, so in that scenario, you have to go into the code and see. There is a Jenkins log console output will be there in Jenkins as well.
Hmm. Hmm.
So in the log console output, if you click on full output, you will see like what and all exceptions are coming from where in the piece of code that particular exception is coming. So you need to go through that code, you have to make those changes, and then you have to again push the change. Then again build process will start. Okay, so before
Hmm.
pushing, you have to see in local, like MVN clean install is working or not.
Hmm. Hmm.
If it's working, then you can see in Jenkins it will be working. So that build process till Maven it will be there. Then deployment process comes. So the
Okay.
code will should be deployed in separate regions. So to test that, only build will not work. You have to deploy in dev region because mostly testing happens in dev region. So after deploying there, then you can test your code if it is working fine or not. So this is the process of doing build and deployment. If you don't deploy and build, then your code changes will not go live
Hmm. Correct.
in a specified environment. So for that set, build and deployment is done.
So till prior to deployment, I should be knowledgeable about these things, right?
Yeah. First of all, code changes, what all things you are doing. That is a thing. After doing the code changes, if you are doing commit and push, then comes build and deployment process. That's a later stage. That's the last stage basically. To still.
Hmm. Hmm.
First,
And
yeah,
no, 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 you can go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, that is a thing. That was the process basically that I wanted to tell you. Yeah, tell.
Okay, and what kind of personal projects should I make like at my level? Like for the resume, which should be like, okay, these are the projects he did on personal level, which seems to be like good for the resume.
First of all, create a proper CRUD operation based project. Okay, try
I
to,
have
yeah,
never
try
done.
to create project on book management. Okay, someone is trying to purchase a book, someone is trying to sell a particular set of books which they are having, someone is trying to buy a book. So you have to store the data into a database, like book data into
Correct,
a database. Then
correct.
try to create an entity mapping, like hibernate mappings are there, one to one, one to many, many to one, many to
Mm-hmm.
many. These things you try to implement first. These are basic things: CRUD operation, entity mapping, then caching. How are you doing the caching? So that this cache you can make use of in your Spring Boot project,
Hmm.
and try to call the database again and again for the same set of record, and see like database is hitting or it's getting the data from the cache only.
Hmm.
So this
Okay.
thing you implement first. Well, from these only the questions will be asked. Then the next thing will be in repository layer. In repository layer, which repository you are extending? JP repository, CRUD repository, paging and sorting repository, normal
Hmm.
repository. Okay, so why you are implementing that and not any other? So you should know the difference between all those repositories. Then what
Hmm.
type
Hmm.
of queries you are passing. Okay,
Hmm.
then what's it? This type of question I was asking frequently, like why are you making use of JPA query? Hibernate query was already there. Why are you making use of JPA?
Hmm.
Okay, so JPA is a specification. Okay, Hibernate is a ORM tool. So
Yeah.
JPA internally implements Hibernate only to run the query. So those things you should
Yeah.
be knowing. So at which scenario you should write native query, at which scenario you should write Hibernate queries. So those type of
Okay.
things should be clear in mind. Then start with this. Start with CRUD operation. That is a basic thing. You can do CRUD operation anything, book management or flight is there, no, train and flight IRCTC kind of thing. Person
Hmm.
is booking the ticket, that person is canceling the ticket, so those ticket details will be saved in the database. So if someone is trying to update the number of passengers in the train, like 5 passengers are there, now they are trying to decrease or increase the number of passengers, so that is the update call, that is put mapping.
Correct.
If someone is trying to see like how many members are there who has booked the ticket in the flight, so there is a get mapping, they will try to get the
Correct.
data. So those CRUD operations will be there with all HTTP methods like post, put, get, delete. These
Delete.
four are important.
Correct.
Okay, and after completion of all these basic CRUD operations are done, then try to implement some advanced level Spring Boot project, which includes communication between two services. Like you can make use of, first you try with REST template,
REST
which
templates.
is a synchronous call to another microservice. This is synchronous, like one by one data will be getting called. So this is the first step. Second step is asynchronous call, okay, which is Kafka, Rabbit, and Cube.
Hmm.
These things are used. So try to create projects including these two. Then after that,
Hmm.
try to implement design patterns. Singleton design pattern, at least two or three creational design pattern you implement. If you don't implement structural behavioral, that is also fine. You should know two or three basic theory part. But for creational design pattern, at least you should know singleton design pattern, factory design pattern, abstract factory design pattern, and builder design pattern. At least you should know these four. They can ask any question out of these four because you are having 2+ years of experience. So they will be expecting at least good knowledge on creational design patterns, specifically singleton. There
Okay.
are tons of questions that comes from singleton.
Correct.
Okay, then the most important concept is hash map, the most important concept. I am
Hmm.
creating one video on that which will cover all types of hash map questions that can be asked. So can you able to think what all form of questions can be asked in hash map? Can you able to think that? Just tell
Like
me what all
key
concepts is coming.
key a key value pair, and in the backend how hash map works, like hash
Yeah,
table, hash set, what is the difference, and
no,
like what is,
what is the internal implementation of hash set? Do you know that?
yeah, I had learned it previously in OS also, but right now I forget, like
Hash set internally implements hash map only.
hmm,
Then before learning hash set you should know what is hash map.
hmm.
Why map is not being kept as a part of collection interface? It's a part of collection framework, but it's not kept as a part of collection interface. Why? So this type of question can be asked. What type of internal data structure present for list, set, queue, map? What are the internal data structure? What's the difference between arrays and array list? What's the
Release is
difference?
dynamic.
Yeah, it increases its size at runtime basically. So these are the basic things they will ask: when to go for array list, when to go for linked list. There's a
Hmm.
difference between the two with respect to memory allocation. Linked list stores data in the form of nodes in the memory, but in array list there is an indexing process. So if you do update
Array list
operation,
is basically arrays only, no? It will be like
yes, yes,
creating it 1.5 times less size, something like that,
yes,
right?
yes, yes. That is a
Whenever
thing.
it
But
is,
how
yeah,
data is accessed in array list, that is also important. They are asking. Like data is accessed with the help of indexing.
using index.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but in
Linked
linked
list
list
it
it
is
is
with the
memory based.
head and yeah.
Yeah, it's memory based where data is at rest. So these things they can ask. And with respect to hashmap, there are tons of questions. I've got like different set of
Correct.
questions. First question, first is hash code and equals contract. What is the hash code and equals contract? If you don't know that contract, you can't be able to understand the internal implementation of hash map. This question will be
Hmm.
asked 110%. What is the internal implementation of hash map? Then within
Correct.
that, there can be a lot of questions like if a particular object is being passed as a key of the hash map, and then you are not overriding hash code and equals method, then what will happen? If you are overriding hash, if you are not overriding, and first second is if you are overriding hash code equals. Okay, then third question will be if you are overriding hash code but not overriding equals. Fourth is if you are overriding equals, not overriding hash code. These are the four scenarios that can come.
Hmm.
Then fifth scenario will be if hash code always returns one, but equals method is not overridden. So don't get
Hmm.
overwhelmed. There are a lot of type of question.
Yeah.
So another set of question is if hash code returns one, but equals method also always returns me true, and then you are trying to put object as a key and the string value as a map, string value in the value part of a map. Then how the data will be stored in the hash map? There are a lot of
Hmm.
questions that can be asked on hash map. It's very important data structure.
Correct.
Yeah.
And like of all the knowledge I will be learning and practicing, like how do we all remember that? Like there is lots of concept like oops and everything, OS, basic OS questions or everything like SQL and everything.
Mhm.
So how do you like prepare for interviews? Like how do you, now that you have practiced it over the years, but since haven't practiced it
Try to
that much, like
implement. That is the first step.
how do
First,
you?
learn the
Yeah.
theory part, know the concept first. That is the first step. After knowing the concept, start implementing. First oops concept is abstraction. What is abstraction? You know, hiding the implementation details, exposing
Hmm.
behavior, these things. Try to implement it in your project. Create a short
Hmm.
project which have abstraction. Try to create a small project with encapsulation, with inheritance. Then that thing will be there in the mind. If you have not read from past 1 month also, still those things will be there in the mind because you have implemented it in your project.
Correct.
Getting.
And revision is another thing. Like, how do
Yes,
we revise things?
create
Like,
notes, create notes. Whatever new things you are learning, try to have one notebook with you. Okay, or
hmm,
if you have notepad plus plus, that also is fine, but have some notebook with you because human brain can't remember one thing after 21 days, it will be forgetting.
yeah,
So same thing happens if you don't read a concept for 21 days, you will forget. If you read a concept for 21 days, it will become a habit and it will be there in your mind. Vice versa also happens. So if you are knowing that you can't learn everything, then there is a high chance that after 21 days the first concept which you have learned you will forget. So the
yeah,
best way
that's
is,
happened
yeah,
with me.
best way is write it down in your notebook. What all things are you learning from start? After 20 days, the first page you will forget. So try to learn it. Put it into a notebook. That's the best way. Okay.
Like conceptual things, taking the notes of conceptual things are easy, but like things which are more of practical implementation, creating notes of that is very, very difficult. Like,
No, what all things you are
let's,
practically doing? No. Try to create a short notes. Like if I'm doing this, then this will be the output because this is happening.
hmm,
In short, you can write. Like in hash code and equals method, if I'm overriding hash code, not overriding equals method, then what will happen? Hash code will be overridden, then key will be find out with the help of bucket, but there is a chance like equals method is not overridden, it will override the objects equals method. In that scenario, if two objects are same, equal logically, then still it will be not set, hash map will not understand it as that those two objects are equal. Okay. So these two, 3 points you can just keep it there for every
hmm,
scenarios. Then if you just go through the small small notes, it will be there in your mind. Just whenever time there, just go through those notes.
correct,
That is
correct.
the best way basically.
Correct. Like, let's say if I learned like Kafka and everything, which I had learned earlier, but now I don't remember it. Like, what all things are there, how the topics are there, brokers and everything. So, how do I like create notes on a whole concept? That is like very difficult for me. Like,
First of all, when you are
technology, what is
learning, no,
learning?
when you are learning Kafka, try creating notes for everything. Okay. Then
Hmm.
after completion of Kafka learning, just try, just create a short note, like one pager notes. In that you put it important points, like when message is being transferred, where exactly the message is being stored in the Kafka. So it is getting stored in a topic, offset is getting created. When consumer is acquiring the message, then offset gets reduced by one. So those basic things which the interviewer mostly asked, just write it down in short format.
More like
Just,
a compendium. Like,
yeah, what's the importance of broker? What's the importance of topic? Where message gets stored? How consumer consumes data from Kafka? how producer produce data into that Kafka, how what is pub sub model. Small things you can write it down so that you just go through those 4 5 questions, and then you will be knowing like back of the thing these things are happening. Sometimes you will be knowing the theory, but the points might be forgotten, then you will not be able to connect.
Yeah, I mean, most of the time with me, it's like I know the overview, but the specifics are missing. Like,
Yeah, that means certain keywords you forgot. So for those
yeah.
keywords, you have to note it. You can create a separate mode for that. The 6 to 8 lines things, like where message is getting stored, how data is accessing, how producer produce, how consumer consumes, and how data transfer happens.
Correct.
Then back of the thing, the whole theory is already written. So we will be knowing that.
And for unit testing at my level, like JUnit and Mockito and SonarCube, these are like sufficient things
Yes, yes,
for me
yes.
to know
Yeah,
because I have learned JUnit and Mockito and tried implementing it. This is like
yeah.
good enough.
How are you mocking the static methods, private methods? Those also you should note. For that, I think you can make use of Power Mockito to mock the static methods and
Hmm.
private constructors. So those things you can know. Few 2 3 things extra exceptional cases they are asking, like what are the difference between inject mocks and mock? Okay, so these things they are asking. So what is the importance of verify method? There is a verify method, right?
Hmm.
Where you are verifying a particular method, how many times it's called? At least once, at most once.
Yeah,
Equal.
mostly it will be used for calculating the database calls and everything, right?
Yes, yeah. How many times that method is called during DB operation? That way it will be beneficial. Yeah. So these are the things. One more and more if you practice, no, practically, because how am I remembering these things? I've not mucked up these things. I've implemented it in the project. So those things from there only it's coming in my mind. What's the importance of this? What is Pi? What is Power Mock?
Hmm.
In latest Java, Spring, there is a Spring Runner. Before that, it was like at the rate extends with. Okay, what's importance of at the rate before each? What is before all?
Hmm.
So
Correct.
before is before all will not work with all the methods. For static methods, before each will be work. And if it is non-static methods, before all will be working. These two annotations are there
Okay.
in Mockito framework. Okay.
Like let's say for JUnit, like the latest one is JUnit 5, which we use mostly, and like JUnit 4. So do I need to know JUnit 4 as well, the annotation like and everything,
Yeah, you
or
should
in
know
the
the
interviews the
basic.
latest versions also
You
do?
yeah, you should know the basic annotations in JUnit 4 as well as JUnit 5. Like why JUnit 5 came. Okay, what are the new annotation came as an improvement over JUnit 4 and JUnit 5. So those things you should be knowing. They can ask you like what
Hmm.
all new things came in JUnit 5, which was not there in JUnit 4, and what problem did it solve.
And as far as I know, like in September, I guess the Java 23 version is gonna come. So is
Yes.
it expected? Like
No,
let's
no,
say
no.
I'm going for an
As
interview
of
in
now, don't they will not ask in the latest 23, but you should know till 17 first. Most
Java
of
8, Java
because
11, and
Spring Boot
17.
3 works with Java 17. You
Correct.
should at least know Java 17 few features.
Hmm.
Okay, there is a record feature is there, sealed feature is there. You can make the interface as record, and then after that you can permit specific classes to implement that interface with permits keyword. These are Java 17 features, like Jakarta persistence API came.
Hmm.
Okay, so these things you might should be knowing. What all new features came? What are the importance? Why this scaling happens from Java 8 to 17? So these things they can ask, even to freshers.
And yeah, and for like data structures, even right now I'm not thinking about product-based companies. I'm looking for more of startups and mid-sized consultancy service-based only. So do they ask like data structure coding question in the interview,
Yeah, they will ask
like
about
proper like
maps.
lead code type questions?
No, lead code they will not ask much in service-based companies. One or two is the exception, but mostly they will ask about streams question. Okay, streams there are a
Stream.
lot of questions. I've also created videos on that. What all questions have been asked? They will ask on map. A lot of question comes on map. There are total 8 to 10 scenarios with hash code and equals method, which I
Hmm.
will be creating video. I will upload that. So map is very important data structure. Okay. Then list there is array list, linked list. Okay. Then set internally implements hash map. So how uniqueness is preserved in set. Those things are asked. Collection framework is very important. I must say. Collection is itself a
Okay.
data structure. So entire
Okay.
collection you should be knowing. List, queue,
Like
set, map.
hmm.
These four data
Like
structures.
recursion and everything, I can skip it. I have even
No,
done it
basic
data sets
recursion you
in the
should be
past.
knowing. Basic recursion you should be knowing.
Yeah, basic I
How to
know.
find a factorial, how to reverse a string using recursion, because they will tell you like if I don't want to use any other arrays, like you should not make use of another array, like your space complexity should be O of 1, then how will you make it work? Then their recursion will be helping you. Okay, so basic of recursion should be known. They
Yeah,
can
I
tell
know
they
the
can tell
basic
you like
thing.
you have to print numbers from 1 to 10 without using for loop. Then how will you do that? You should be knowing recursion for that. So this type of question are asked actually.
And let's assume like if I take a referral from you and get an interview in the company which you are working, right? So
Mhm.
then I won't be taking the coding round. I will be directly going for the interview, or it depends on the company.
It
I
depends upon
haven't
company
taken
to
a
company.
referral
It
yet.
depends upon company to company. If there is a referral, if there is an online assessment in the first round, then they will take that. They will not see like if that person is coming through referral or through websites or from any other website. It they will not see. If there is the process, they will follow the process.
Okay, and for like the coding uh, round, what things need to be prepared since I
For
have
coding round, actually it
attended?
varies. Because in Genpact, I have seen they have asked dynamic programming in online assessment.
That is
So
advanced data
yeah,
structure.
there's advanced level data structure. So you can't predict what all things they can ask. Yeah, but basic OOPS concept should be knowing. So in KPMG, if you have seen my video, so in KPMG video, I've already told they have asked on OOPS concept in HackerRank. They will be given interfaces. You will be given classes to implement the interface and override those methods, and you have to write the logic. So those type of questions will be asked. Then with respect to streams, they can ask with respect to list, set, map. Based upon that, questions will be asked. Recursion based questions can also be asked. So you should learn as much as possible. Okay, there is no limit to that. If you start
Yeah,
working on elite code level question, easy level question, you will get confidence.
yeah, I had solved it in college, like did code
Hmm.
easy and medium.
Yeah,
But
you
right
will.
now I'm not in touch, so I forgot everything.
Yeah, it's fine. Start with hacker rank then, because lead code easy becomes sometimes difficult to understand.
Yeah,
Start with hacker rank first, basic level questions. From there you will get the idea. Then if you are starting from basic, then codingbat.com is there where from where I have started. Codingbat,
coding,
codingbat.com.
coding bat.
Yes, from there I have started. It will be there from level 1, level 2, level 3. Basic level questions will be there. There you will be having good problem solving, logical solving skills will be developed.
Okay, yeah, mostly that was the thing I wanted to ask. And like if you want to connect again, like TopMate is the only way we can
Yeah,
connect
we can
because
connect through LinkedIn also. We can sit on Google Meet also.
because LinkedIn, I think I saw like there are many such connections to you. I guess 500 plus. So I think
Mhm.
uh, uh,
You have
the
not,
message might
yeah, you don't have the creators account, right?
creators account means I'm
Means
not
you can
aware.
convert your account to professional creators account. So in that you can see like how many people follows you. Okay,
No,
so those
I have
things
the
you can see.
normal LinkedIn account.
Uh,
Like,
if you convert it to creators account, I think then you can see like how many followers are there for a person. So
okay, okay,
500
okay.
plus
I guess
connections you are telling for which person?
for you, I guess. So I thought the message might not pop up, and you might be getting like hundreds of message every day. So I
Yeah,
didn't
it's there, but I
expect.
can see. I can see it there if I search it. It will be there. No problem.
Okay, yeah. Let's see. I will try to sit with my friends for learning their projects.
Yeah. Try to build as much project as possible and sit with your colleagues. What all things they are doing. Try to learn from them, and you can tell the same to interviewer. This is the best way I will tell. That's a real time application that I'm telling.
Like even if I have the knowledge, I'm not having the confidence because in my mind,
Confidence eventually you will get. Initially you will not get.
I'm like I haven't worked on a project, real time project, so I don't have the confidence to go in the interview
It's
and
okay, no
open.
problem. You can learn with them, and if there is opportunity, you can sit with them, see what they are doing, how they are doing, and from there you can get the confidence. Whatever they are doing, if you don't have work, you can sit with them and see how they are doing, what they are doing, what problem statement they are solving, how they are approaching that problem. Just see that and tell the same thing to the interviewer. You have to find the midway out. There is no other way.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's see here.
Stand in a
Uh,
question.
right now in my mind, no. I
Okay.
guess most of the things are there. Mostly, I'm worried about the food project experience only.
First of all, build your resume properly and create
Hmm.
2 3 good projects. That's the first and second step. Then learn from their colleagues what all project they are doing. These 3 things you do, then after that everything will come in place.
And in the resume, like let's say I've mentioned things like I'm familiar with this technology, like let's say Kafka. So the interviewer will expect from me that I know Kafka like
At
thoroughly
least
or like
basic level they will expect, like how data is
basic level,
being
right?
transferred in your project through Kafka, how it is consumer is consuming, how producer is producing. Basic level at least they will expect where data is
So
getting stored.
is it good to mention in resume that I'm familiar with these things, or I shouldn't mention it at all?
Yeah, if you have learned the thing in your project, like in the current project, if Kafka is used, or in your personal laptop if you have used, then you can tell like I have worked upon Kafka, not familiar with Kafka. I have worked upon the project where there is asynchronous communication was involved, and there I have made use of RabbitMQ or Kafka, whatever you have used. Like that you can write.
Okay, okay.
If you write familiar, they will get confused. They will think like you know but you don't know. Both things are there. Then they may skip that point.
Okay, like sometimes it happens
Mhm.
like we just know things, but we are not that confident in it.
Confidence
So
will come eventually. Even I am also not confident with a lot of things. But still I am going through. I am learning. Every interview I will get 1 or 2 questions that I don't know. But still I am learning. Everyone learns from 0 years to 25 years plus. Everyone is learning. Java is
correct.
very vast. You can't learn everything in one single video.
Yeah, and one of my friend who stays in the same building, he's like 1 year senior to me. He
Yes.
was in Capgemini. He went for a walk-in interview in Infosys. So first round was technical, and second was a managerial round. So that went like half an hour, 40 minutes. The manager just managerial round. They just asked him like what kind of teams were there in your previous project? How many teams were there? How many team members were there?
Hmm.
How did you communicate? Which like did you communicate intra team and
Hmm.
everything? How did you resolve the conflicts and everything? So how do I prepare for this? Because again, I haven't worked on projects, so I don't know
Again, the same
what
thing
is
I will tell. Again,
working
the
with
same thing I will
projects.
tell. Go to your colleague. They will also doing the same thing, right?
Correct,
So you can just ask the same question to him, like how are you handling the user stories? How are you managing all set of work in one single sprint? What all tasks are spilled over, and what was the reason of getting it spilled over? So these type of questions you'll be able to answer when you have actually worked there. Like how many people that team is working, you can replicate the same for yourself. These questions
correct.
you can just copy from your colleague, those who are actually working now.
So basically, Scrum and Agile, I should be aware of it.
Yes, yes. Agile
Yeah.
methodology everywhere it is followed, so they should know this agile methodology.
And do they verify? Like I have heard sometimes the HR do verify with my previous company that I did work for a certain project, or it is
No,
not
no, no,
possible in
not
a
that
MNC or
much.
something.
They will not do. Like that much time is also not there. They will verify each and everything. Background verification they will do. They will check like have you worked in that organization or not. They will ask few of your colleagues there in that previous organization, like what was your intent of work, how have you worked. Those things they can ask. So you can tell your friends. First of all, they will ask you only. If there is any point of contact, you can mention them if you are getting selected in that organization. So
Okay,
you can previously tell them that you may get call from that organization, so you can tell these things. Then they will tell those things. It's fine then.
okay, that we can manage, right?
Yeah.
That is manageable.
They will not reach out to
Oh,
any other person. They will ask you which all person you know from that organization. They will ask question to them only about you.
okay, and one final question was
Yeah.
that is it okay to downgrade? Like, let's say I'm currently I'm getting 4.5 to 5 lakhs between something like that. So is it okay if I work on lesser package just to get on a job and experience, or I should always go for a higher package only, even if the opportunities are very limited?
You should always think about getting towards higher package, but you should get a project as well. If you are getting good project, if you are already knowing beforehand that you will be getting good project and your client round is already done, because some companies they will take you after having the client round clearing. After you clear the client round, then only they will give you the offer letter. So if you know everything about that organization, and they will give you more, you are having 2 years experience, don't just lowball yourself. You can tell like I'm having 2 years experience, I have worked upon these much projects. Then you can clearly tell them that I am expecting this much package as per the industry standards. If they accept it, it's fine. Okay, you can take it. Then after that you can start searching anywhere else, because there will be notice period in your organization, right? What's the
90
notice?
days, that is another issue, like 3 months of notice
Yeah.
period.
So first of all is, first you have to get one offer letter first. That is the one thing. I was also facing a lot of issue in that, but I've negotiated, telling that I can reduce my notice period time,
Notice period.
but I need a confirmation that yes, my shortlisting process and interview process will happen. Then they will come to a proper date, like yes, 75 days or 60 days I can handle. Then the interview process should get started, and then you can confirm it with your current organization, like there is a buyback policy is there or not, can be converted to 2 days, 2 months notice period instead of 3 months. If they tell is fine, or else you can tell to the employer like I have interrogated with my current organization, but they are telling like there is a strict deadline with my client, and we have to deliver my project within this much date, and it will take 1 month more, and I have to give KT also to my juniors so that they can continue on behalf of me. Okay. So like this,
Hmm.
if you can explain to the next organization, then they will understand like yes, you are working and you are dedicated towards your work. You should convert it to another direction.
It should be in our favor, right?
Yeah, because most of the places, they don't require urgently. They are telling that like they are immediately needing 15 to 20 days notice period, but they were not exactly expecting within that time frame. If it is 60 days, 90 days, then also there will not be much issue with that. But they are telling you so that you join early. That's it.
Okay, so I should not apply only to those jobs which are
No, no,
offering
no. You apply. You apply to all
less
form of service based company. Take one offer first.
less than hello.
Hello,
Uh,
am I audible?
yeah, I guess your voice got distorted. Yeah,
Yeah,
can you
tell.
please repeat it?
Here also network
The
issue came.
same thing.
Yeah, tell. Network issue came.
I was asking that only. So I should not apply to jobs which are currently below my package, or should I apply and practice for interviews?
You can practice for interviews. At this point of time, when you haven't really worked upon project, don't see the salary. First
Okay.
thing is focus upon your skills. Get good projects. Just stay there for 1 year. Then after working on a project for 1 year, then you can demand more. I have started with 5,000 per month.
Okay.
Hello,
Oh.
am I audible?
Yeah, yeah. Hi.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you are audible. But
Yeah,
yeah.
I've started with 5,000 per month in one small startup, and then after that I scaled it to 15
Okay.
plus. So it's like you have to get something. You have to work on a project first. So if it is less also, that's fine. 6 months, 1 year you work, gain that experience, and again you start looking and get good higher package. But focus upon getting higher
And
package with
is
good
there any
project.
I'm very interested in working for startups. So is there any particular way that I can apply for startups only or something like that? Because on job portals it is very difficult to find startups
Don't
mostly.
search in job portals. You can search in Google like top 100 unicorn startups. Okay, and then you can
No,
search.
like if I search for unicorn, that will be like product based. That is
Yeah,
difficult. I want like startup which are like very small or like 100 200 employees or something like that.
then also you can search on Google like a growing startup with 400 to 500 employees in India.
Hmm.
Okay, you will get certain set of startups. Then you can go to the LinkedIn. Okay, you can message them, DM them, those who are CTOs or those who are at the manager level, and tell them your story, like what all things have you done and why do you want to work there. Create a proper template, change name, and send it across to all those people.
Okay. Okay, fine.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, fine. Thanks. So we can connect on LinkedIn or
Yes,
any
yes.
other platform.
LinkedIn, we can connect as of now. Then we will see.
Yeah, sure. I will text you on LinkedIn once. Okay.
Yes, yes. Okay.
Uh, yeah.
Create a proper
Thank you.
resume first. Okay.
Hmm. Yeah, sure, sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks. Bye.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah.